Hey everybody, welcome back to another one of my budgeting videos. I know that every time I do one, I apologize for not uploading them on a regular basis and saying that I'm going to try to do better next time, and then I dropped the ball again, which is exactly what has happened this time. I dropped the ball again, so I'm very sorry. This budget is actually from my March 8th paycheck, and it's not like I just dropped the ball with getting the video up. I only did this budget today. So, I'm just dropping the ball everywhere. Like I've done in the past, I already wrote it all out and then I'm just going to go over it with you instead of like writing it out on camera, mostly just because of the layout that I have right now. It kind of makes it easier this way. And I turned on all my lights, and this is the best lighting that I can get you, so sorry it's a little bit dim. I'm working on the alcove space where I plan on filming these in the future, and I'll be able to set up my ring light again, so it should get better soon. And it's not just me saying that, I actually did do some work on it on Monday. And so I have some of the lighting up, and I just need to get the workspace actually ready. And that sound you can hear in the background is the automated kitty litter box going into a cleaning cycle, because of course it is as soon as I start filming. Yep. So I'm just going to pause a second and I'll be back when that's done. Okay, so now that that is done and it is quiet again, let's get started. So my March 8th paycheck, which I did the budget for today, my balance when I started was $2,317.82. And as per my usual comment, that's not a real balance. My mom sent me $1,500 for help with the budget, and also we're doing a trip in June, and so she sent me some money to help go towards like the cost of the flight and everything. And she basically said just use the money however I need to use the money. So I had intended on putting 1,000 of it onto my credit card, which is what I charged the flight to. Because of course, like the cost of the airfare plus some of the hotel stays for like the first part of the trip, things like that, it put a huge balance onto my credit card, and I'm not going to be able to pay it off anytime soon, but I'm also not going to tell my mother that. So I was going to put $1,000 towards that. And if I had done the budget actually on payday weekend, I probably would have. I think I would have been able to, but I didn't. And of course, like things happened since then. And so this is kind of where we're at now. So when I did the initial calculations, I took out the $1,500 and was left with only a very small amount, like 800 and something. And that's not enough to cover the budget for this paycheck. So I kept the $1,500 in this starting balance and just figured I would do the budget, pay all the things I need to pay, see how much is left over, and then figure out what to do from that point on. So this is kind of how it broke down. So $650 pulled out and put aside for half of my rent. $346.32 payment onto my line of credit. I put $100 onto the Visa, $33.57 onto the Neo credit card, $60 towards the cell phone. So that left me with $1,127.93. Then $245 is deducted out. I still haven't made it to the bank to pull this out as actual cash. This is money for cash envelopes for Striker and for the work parking that I keep intending to pull out as actual cash to have it on me so that I don't accidentally spend it by leaving it with the other cash envelopes, which of course are all digital. So I take it out of this when I'm doing the budget and figuring everything out, so I don't accidentally put it towards like a bill or something this way, but I never actually make my way to the bank to pull it out as cash. I don't know why. I just, well, I do. I forget. As soon as I close this budgeting book, my brain literally just forgets. So I don't know. I need to make my way to the bank and pull out money, but then I keep getting nervous because like the balance is getting pretty big, which is good and bad. It's good because it means like I have money for Striker, but it's bad because it means that when I buy his litter and his cat food and things like that, I'm pulling it out of my grocery fund and then not remembering to replenish my grocery fund with money from his fund. So I'm not actually spending his money on him. I'm just continuously building it and then putting the rest of my cash envelopes into like overdraw because I'm spending from categories that aren't for the cat on the cat. I've really got to figure out a better system. Yes, so anyways, $245 pulled out, which is split in between money for Striker and money for work parking. Then $214.50 goes towards the digital cash envelopes. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I had a moment there. And then $216 goes towards my sinking funds, leaving me with a balance of $452.43. So over here is the breakdown of the cash envelope. So Stryker gets $32.50 every paycheck. And just a little note there about keeping it as actual cash. Nothing towards work parking because I have enough for 2 weeks set aside as cash over here. So I'm not adding anything else to it quite yet because I'm still working exclusively from home. $60 for groceries, nothing for takeout. I've put the miscellaneous money down to 25. It used to be 50. Fun I put down to 30. It used to also be 50. I know some people are probably thinking I should just be wiping out the fun category, but I need to be realistic. Like every Saturday I go to boot camp, it's already paid for, so I'm going to be going as long as I'm physically able to. And then afterwards I go for brunch with a friend, and it's like my one social activity of the week. It is quite literally the only thing that I do that is outside of work or physio. Or I suppose now when I'm able to, I go to dragon boat practice, and that is fun and social in its own way, but not in the same way as sitting down with a friend and getting to hang out. And I think it's important for like my mental health, if nothing else, to keep some money and to be able to do the brunch. Physio is $42. I can't alter that. I have to pay $21 every week. So that's always going to be there until physio is done. And I took down my gas from $50 a paycheck to $25. Luckily, I'm in a hybrid, and also I go almost nowhere. Like really the only places I drive are to physio, to dragon boat maximum once a week if I'm physically able to go, and then to boot camp on Saturdays. And then from boot camp on Saturdays we walk to somewhere for brunch, so I'm not using the car then. And then usually on the Saturdays when I'll also fit in like a quick hop over to like the grocery store or errands or something, so it's not being driven that much, which is good because gas is at almost $2 right now. So I'm glad I'm not using it a lot. So that's for the $214.50 is. Now over here, oh, I did do it wrong. Oh no. So I wasn't supposed to deduct $214.50. I was supposed to deduct that minus the $32.50. I can't do math right now. I need a calculator. Both of my hands are busy right now. So I'm going to have to correct this. Oh, bother. Okay, I'm going to have to find whiteout and correct it, and that'll give me a new total down there. I will let you know what it is when I'm all done. Sinking funds, pretty sure at least I didn't mess these ones up. So SUV insurance gets 67, tenant insurance 14, emergency fund 40. The tech is 15, dragon boat 20, presents 20, travel 40 for a total of 216. And I was actually able to fund all of them this time, which is great. I hate when there's a really bad paycheck week and I'm not able to fund them all, just because it does mean that eventually not being able to put money into one of them is going to come bite me in the butt later when I don't have enough money for, say, like my tenant insurance saved up. So instead of just paying it off the credit card as soon as it charges to the credit card, I'm having to like live with another balance added onto the card. You know what I mean, right? Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, I'm gonna go and fix this math really quick, and then I will be right back to show you what the real totals are. So I panicked for nothing. Yeah, so I did have to pull out from the budget $214.50 from the cash envelope deduction. And like that doesn't matter if I had separated it out to the amount for the digital cash envelopes and then a separate amount, the $32.50 for Stryker or not, that amount had to come out of the budget anyways. I thought I had messed it up because I didn't separate out the math over here, but I actually did. So I only moved over 182. That's not supposed to say 50. $182 went over to the digital cash envelopes, and then $32.50 stayed in this bank account to be pulled out as cash. So I didn't actually mess it up. I just thought I did and had a momentary panic. So yay for not messing it up. So now this means I have $452.43 sitting in the bank account as a rollover, and I'm not 100% sure what is the best plan for it, because I'm sort of sitting here like I desperately want to start paying off debt, because like I'm panicking with how much debt that I have right now. It's a lot, and I have like this overwhelming urge to pull from all of my savings, all of my emergency funds, all of my everything, and just like put huge payments on my debt, but it won't actually wipe out all of the debt, and it'll just mean that I don't have any savings or resources to pull from in case there's some sort of an emergency. And the trip in June is to England, and it is going to be happening, and there is going to be money required for that trip. Do you know what I mean? So while I think that paying off debt is very, very, very important, I think right now I have to be careful that I don't put so much towards paying off the debt that I then don't have any for the trip, and the entirety of the trip just puts me into even more debt. Does that make sense? So I'm thinking about moving like maybe 250 of it over into my travel fund, just to sort of keep it safe and use it towards travel expenses, whether it be you know, like some form of like putting it towards the flight or the accommodation, or using it so that I have spending money when I'm over there, and at least when I'm over there I'm not going into more debt with spending and shopping. Instead, I'm just sort of spending what I've already got and then just being very careful, which I know doesn't sound like a super lot of fun, you know, like you kind of think go on holiday and just like live free, be wild, but like that's not gonna happen. And I need to be realistic about it. And so if I have enough money saved up that I can actually cover expenses like the food I'm going to be eating every day, and travel around London, and hopping a plane going from London over to Ireland at one point, and then Ireland over to Gatwick, and then I'll be hooking up with family, and my expenses will drop considerably because I'll be staying at my uncle's, and you know, like, so just like automatically I won't be spending as much, so that'll be good. But I do need money to get me to that stage of the vacation. So I think, yeah, 250 will go into the travel fund to help bulk that up, and whatever I don't use in the travel fund during the trip, I will put towards debt once the trip is done, because the trip has caused me a lot of debt. So I think that makes sense. And then the remainder, I'm very, very tempted to leave it as rollover right now, because I have 2 short work weeks coming up, even shorter than normal. So I'm still not working on Wednesdays because of my modified work week from the concussions. But then next week, Friday is a stat, and it's an unpaid stat for me. And then Monday is also a stat, which again, an unpaid stat for me. So that means that I'm gonna have both of those weeks, I'm gonna be short 2 days of pay. And I don't even know what that's gonna look like on a paycheck, but it will not be pretty. So I'm gonna need some kind of a rollover for that, for sure. So yeah, and I just realized I'm saying the word "so" quite a lot, and it must be super annoying, and I apologize for that. But I think that this is what I'm going to do. 250 over into travel. The rest I'm going to keep as the rollover. All of my bills got paid this paycheck, which feels like a minor miracle. My cash envelopes and my sinking funds got funded. I mean, yes, I've had to reduce down my cash envelopes, and I desperately miss takeout. But you know, like you gotta let some things go, and for right now that's takeout, but I'm leaving it on the list because I'm hoping that someday I'll be able to bring it back. Just not quite yet, I don't think. But yeah, there we go. That is where the budget is at right now. Here's my calendar for the month. I don't really write on it usually once it's created, unless like I, you know, say like I put like that on the incredibly wrong date, and so then I go and like make a little arrow and be like, yeah, it was actually the 29th. But otherwise I don't really write on this as it goes through. I used to back in the day on a version that I used well before I ever recorded my budgets. I would write on them, like on the payday square, what bills I paid on that one. So like just in like the world's tiniest print, because the squares are only so big. But I don't really do that in this one, just because I keep everything in the same book. So when I did that budget, the calendar was in a separate book than the actual notebook I was using for budgeting. So it just made it easy to write all the information kind of in both places, just in case. And I will go to the front and find the checklist and take care of that. There we go. Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't fill it out for February at all. I did pay my bills, I swear. Okay, so I'm going to go through this and check off things and take care of all the little boxes and everything, bring the book up to date. But yeah, that's really all you need to know for now. The budget has been done for the 8th. I get paid this Friday. Sorry, I had a blank there for a moment. Yeah, I guess I get paid this Friday. So I will be sitting down to do another budget pretty quickly. And I say that with all hopes that I am being honest and that I will sit down and do it when the actual payday happens. But we all know my track record with that right now. So let's just cross fingers I actually get that done on time, and you will have 2 very closely posted budgeting videos. I hope everybody out there is doing well, is having a great time with your budget, you're hitting your goals and getting paid off what needs to get paid off. Stay safe, and I will talk to you later.